Hey everybody, Ryan here from Stellar Records live recording studio in Brooklyn, New York. We make music on tape, and today I am here with Adam Levy. Adam is classified, I guess you would say, as a jazz guitarist, but to us he's much more than that. He's obviously also a singer-songwriter, vocalist. But I want to tell people today about you as a person and how we experienced you. And from Marco and I's point of view, and I know I can speak for Mark as well, we thought you were very intentional, very thoughtful, extremely kind. I guess the definition of down to earth, easy to work with. And the lyrics, the guitar skills were thought provoking, captivating, I guess also fun. We had a great time with you. So, a lot of this is going to be about us getting people to know more about you. Obviously, your existing fans, but hopefully. So let's dig in. Let's learn more about Mr. Levy. First of all, Mr. Levy, you are wildly talented, and you have been on some tip-top teams, all right? I mean, Tracy Chapman, Nora Jones, Liz Wright, to name a few, but we're not here to talk about the teams you've been on. I only bring that up because it's your talent that, drew them to you. And that talent I see on a big level, and I see that the career of yours has a lot of steam left. It's on a big trajectory upward. So I'm very happy for you. And I guess that leads me to my first question. With those types of teams, with your own career and that career really taking off, balance. I want to talk about balance. I mean, just that alone is got to be tough to deal with. But on top of that, you have books, you have inspirational videos, you have online classes, private lessons. And I'm sorry, but I'm going to mention it again. This tour of yours is crazy. I mean, you just told me Curacao, then I think you said LA. I can't remember the name of the desert town you were in to do this next recording. So tell me, how do you find the balance? How do you, besides loving it, how do you keep it all together and keep going in this fashion of kind of unlimited energy that we see you in?
I think what you said, love, like I love music. When I look at my calendar and I see all of these things that I'm doing, if I start to like think about it instead of feel about it, sure, I get like anxious or I just get tired, but nothing refuels me or grounds me more than playing music. Okay. So as far as like the energy, I think the music actually sustains. Playing music gives me the energy that I need to make more music.
That's awesome.
Balancing it is maybe a different question. It's tricky. Just in the past few months, I've been to Europe and back. I'm going again to Europe in a couple of weeks. As you mentioned, I just was in Curacao. I've been to the West Coast twice in the last couple of weeks. I'm playing in South Africa at the end of this month at a music festival in Johannesburg. Everything that I'm doing is stuff that I want to be doing.
Let's just keep it into 3 to 6 months. Where is the coolest place, in your opinion, that you have toured and performed?
There is a music venue in Amsterdam called the Paradiso.
Okay.
It's a pretty legendary venue. I think it was a church maybe a long time ago.
All right.
It's been a live music venue for as long as I've been playing music. I've heard about it. And I've played there a few times over the years. I played there with Nora Jones early on in her touring career. I played there recently with Liz Wright. There's something really special about the room, the sound of it, even the it sounds like I'm just, it sounds woo-woo to say it, but even just the quality of the air in the room.
Mm-hmm. No, I don't think it sounds like that. I mean, we're, music people, that's important.
Yeah. And so that's a place that when I see on a tour that we're playing there, I always get excited. I love watching music there. Like when I played there with Liz, we had a really great singer-songwriter opening the show. So I went out and I watched that show because it's just a pleasure to be in the room and hear music there. It's a pleasure to be on stage. People come to listen. Everything just connects exactly how it's supposed to. The people that work there are great and supportive. So every way that a venue could be great, it's great. And then you're in Amsterdam for a few days, so that's nice. You know?
No complaints.
Yeah.
I mean, being that it's a church, not that there aren't bigger churches, but would you say it's a smaller venue, more intimate venue?
Yeah, it is really intimate. You get the sense, like there's people standing on the floor level, and then there's a balcony level, and I think there's even an upper balcony.
Oh, that's really cool.
But you still feel like you could make eye contact with every person who's there.
Nice.
Whereas, you know, a little bit later on the same tour, we played at the North Sea Jazz Festival in Rotterdam, and we played in a really big room where after a certain number of people, you just are like, okay, I'm not really sure who I'm singing to. It's just more this kind of hum of a frequency of, okay, there's a lot of people out here. It's harder to, but like at the Paradiso, I really feel like I could pick any one person and just connect with them. Yeah, with Liz Wright and with Nora, you know, sometimes you're playing to many people. For a little while I was touring with a guy, and we were out opening for the Eagles, and so like, you know, I've played at Giants Stadium, or with Nora we played at Hershey Park opening for the Dave Matthews Band.
Wow.
That's a completely different experience. I like the intimacy. Whenever that's what we're doing, that's my favorite thing. Yeah.
Okay. Why do you think that is? Just the connection? You seem to.
Yeah, because it relates to why I want to play music in the first place, you know?
Okay. That's cool. Okay, cool. I appreciate that. Okay. That's obviously a big one. I mean, just balancing all that and juggling it. One of the things I do want to ask you that's on this list that's important to me, and I think to people out there, especially new people, is when you teach, what do you like about teaching? Is it a business development tool for you to get better, to develop your skills? I'm sure that's part of it, if not all of it. If it isn't all of it, what else is it about teaching? Online courses, private lessons, doesn't matter to me, but teaching,
Yeah.
I think is so important and so lacking in this country, sadly, that I want to know what you like about that.
I like seeing a little light bulb go off. Like I taught a lesson earlier today with a guy I had never met before, and showed him something that was just right there all along. I wasn't like I had to go to a chalkboard and draw like a complicated formula to explain what it was. This is a guy who already is a really good player, but there were some things that he wasn't seeing, even though they were kind of almost right under his fingers, you know? And so when I would say, okay, but you know, what happens if you just make that move? And just like, oh.
Right.
Now that's something that I think that's gonna stay with him, because I didn't like grab his finger and put it anywhere. I didn't, you know, connect, USB-C cables between our brains. I just said, hey, you know, what happens if you just try this little change in what you're doing? And then all of a sudden, there were more possibilities that really he discovered on his own. I just kind of tried to kind of shine a little bit of a light there. And those moments are, for me, very thrilling. In the past few years, something I've gotten to do is like teaching at guitar camps.
Okay. Camps. Cool.
Camps.
Cool.
But it's not like what you might imagine. It's not kids, it's grown-ups.
Sure.
Some kids, but mostly who has the time and the resources to just go into the woods for a week and play guitar is people who are grown-ups, and a lot of them are retired or
Sure.
semi-retired or
Sure.
whatever. So it's not for kids, but they're in a way more excited about music. With all the stuff I do, sometimes it's like I'm really tired,
Sure.
or sometimes I don't even want to listen to music when I get home because like there's already music going in my head all day. And just to spend a week in the woods with people who've been looking forward to this week for the past 51 weeks, because the rest of their life is not music. The rest of their life is whatever it is. So it's a good reminder to me to spend time around folks who just are like,
In awe of it.
yeah.
Right. Right. You didn't say it before, but I would imagine that gives you some of the energy to balance all of this, and that must be wildly refreshing to take part. That's pretty cool. Okay, I appreciate that. All right, I could spend I don't know how long on all of that type of material, but in the essence of moving along and not creating a 4-hour video, which I'd be happy to do with you, I'm going to transition us over to the Mint Imperials, who I love. Not to jump right in, but Tony's drumming is ridiculous, and I haven't met really a person who plays the bass like Andy, so was stuck watching you guys as Paul recorded you. You can just give us the details, how you guys met, how you formed, where the name came from, so that when I show you this finished product, the cover will make even more sense to us.
Great.
Great.
So I met the Mint Imperials. So the Mint Imperials is me singing and playing guitar, usually electric guitar. Andy Hess on the bass, Tony Mason on drums. I met those guys maybe 99, early 2000s-ish, something like that. They were the backing band for this really great blues guitar player who he's passed on now, but his name was Bill Sims Jr.
Okay.
So I used to go see them play with him. And I thought, someday when I grow up, I want to have a band that plays like that. And so when I was getting ready to make a record that I made that's called Washing Day, I thought, well, why don't I just hire those guys to be on the record? I didn't think I was starting a band. I just thought it was just a little bit more, hire the ringers to make your record, basically,
Sure.
And New York is a place where there's a lot of great bass players and a lot of great drummers. And Andy and Tony are great individually, but something about the way they play together I thought was particularly special. So we made this record, Washing Day, and then I wanted to play with them some more. So
Sure, obviously, of course, right.
we started playing at this place on the Lower East Side. It's gone now, but it was called Banjo Jim's.
Okay. Damn, that sounds fun.
Yeah, and at that's when I needed to name the band, because before that, my record Washing Day, it just says Adam Levy Washing Day, because it wasn't a band in my mind. It was just a recording session. But then when we started playing regularly, I thought, okay, this needs to be a band, needs to have a cool name. And I love to look at pictures of like American, roots music from the 50s and 60s. And I was really fascinated by, pictures of like vocal groups, like soul, rhythm and blues vocal groups. And these guys, like before, guys on stage wearing matching suits, sometimes with like beautiful like piping on the lapels and just great shoes. And oftentimes there would be this kind of like minty green suits. And I thought, I just love that. So follow me, because there's 3 parts
No,
to
I'm
it.
following you, trust
okay,
me.
so I didn't think I was going to be able to convince Andy and Tony to wear suits,
Yeah, I could say both, but something about Tony, like, nah, I'm good.
No, he's not a suit guy. He's not a suit guy. But I like the image of that. So there's that. Then, of course, if you like vintage cars, you know what an Imperial is, a cool car. And then also there's a candy in England anybody who grew up in the UK would know it. They're called Mint Imperials, and it's just like almost like an after dinner mint that you'd see in a restaurant, like in a bowl by the cash register.
Totally.
And
I know exactly what
yeah.
you're talking about. Yeah.
So, but in the US, people don't know that. So in my mind, it was like, okay, minty suits, vintage cars. If that's what it conjures up, then that's great. Funny enough, I found out later, Bill Sims Jr., who I mentioned, who I basically stole his band from. I stole Bill's band. He told me in the '70s he was in a group called the Mints.
Oh gosh, wow.
So yeah, connections. But anyway, that's where the name came from, and we played this weekly gig on the Lower East Side for a couple of years. We would always have a guest artist come in and play. A lot of times we would play the late set, but we'd have Bill Sims come in and we'd play like with Bill at 11, Mint Imperials at midnight, and some other guest would come in at 9 o'clock. So we had like a weekly, I'm trying to remember the name of what I call it, Adam Levy's wish list. We called it the wish list.
Nice. Okay, cool. All right. Very awesome. I appreciate that. Like I said, I'm a drums guy, so Tony kind of resonated with me, although obviously that bass was incredible. Okay, I think that's a good segue into songs that made the album, which is great because we're getting closer to actually seeing the album. So if it's cool, I'm going to tell you what my favorite song is first. I'm sure you know this because we've worked together, but it's Washing Day. There's something extremely soothing about it. I've mentioned to friends that you, obviously your music, but that song in general is a song I kind of always go to when I need to ride, the 4 or 5 in certain stretches, right? It's very soothing, very calming. I want to know, and I want to tell everybody else what inspired that, what it means from your perspective, not an outsider's, so that people can get to know that song a little bit.
Sure. Well, it's a story song, but I'll cook it down to just like the essential thing, which is the idea of I'm big on journaling, writing things down and carrying a notebook. And I thought, what if you had all these really personal things in your notebook, and you kept it in your pocket, but then it was washing day, the day you wash your clothes, and you realize as your laundry is spinning around that you had your notebook in there. Mm-hmm. And what if you had written this beautiful poem to somebody you loved, or a memory from childhood, or something just really near and dear, and now it's just all this ink running around in your washing machine. Wow. And it's all going to wash away. That doesn't take away the memories. It doesn't take away the poem that you wrote. It doesn't take away anything. It's just, you are that stuff. Right. The book is just a notebook, but you are going to carry that with you regardless. So that's the idea of the song.
Okay, cool. All right. I have my own thoughts about that, and now that I've heard that, I'm sure the next time I'm listening to that, my thought process will kind of meld with yours, and I'll shoot you a text message on how I feel about it at that point. All right, tell me about what's on the album, obviously. Mm-hmm. Again, titled Honestly, which I thought was a solid, really great choice. Tell me what song on the album means the most to you, or is your favorite, and why?
The song that means the most to me on this record is Come On Home.
Okay. Why?
Because it is the most, I think for me, the most honest song. Sometimes I write songs that they're sort of semi-fictional, and Come On Home is really true to me because I'm on the road so much. And it's just about, every place I go, I know that that's somebody's hometown. Everywhere you are,
yeah, that's a great
people live there. Yeah. But all I can think about is getting home. And in the song I talk about, I'm playing solitaire, I'm reading magazines, I'm on a plane, I'm on a train, I'm drinking too much coffee. That's all very real, and I hope relatable even to people who aren't touring musicians. A lot of people work on the road.
Totally. I think it's a very relatable song.
Yeah.
And I think it can really transcend into each person's own web of stuff that everybody has going on. So
Right.
that's interesting.
So that song just feels the most direct and relatable. Like Washing Day, I think you do have to listen to it a few times to even get the thing that I said that song is about. You could listen to that song a bunch and not get that that's what it's about. But Come On Home is very clear. It's not like wrapped in a fancy, poem. It's very direct. So
Okay.
I love that song, and it's a song that I wrote a while ago I co-wrote it with a great songwriter named Garrison Starr.
Mm.
And for whatever reason, it's not one that I play all the time. And a couple times a year, I'll remember to put it on the set list, and I go, oh, right, yeah, that song is special.
Where were you when, if you remember, what that triggered that? Because, being so, I guess, personal and direct and honest and all that, was there something that happened, or was it just you were sitting on a plane and feeling like I want to go home? And this is a great song that can come of this. Like, where were you? How did this all happen?
Yeah, I went over to Garrison's house, and we knew we were going to write a song. There was a period in my life, I don't do it as much now, when I would just go on writing dates, at least once a month. I would call up somebody I know who either that I had already written songs with or maybe hadn't, and say, let's get together and write a song. And the etiquette in that situation is you come with some nugget of an idea, but you also come open.
Mm-hmm.
So, because if you already have a song that you want to write,
creative process.
Exactly.
Right?
That's not really a co-write. That's just like, hey, do you want to have coffee
Let
while
you
I write
hire
a
the
song?
ringers like
Yeah,
Tony.
yeah. So, I don't remember what the little nugget of it was when I got to Garrison's place. But she's a touring musician also, so it's something we could both relate to, like having somebody back home that you can't wait to get back to. As it was, we were in Garrison's house, so she wasn't away from home when we wrote it. But when you haven't seen somebody in a while, you talk about, so what have you been doing? Oh, I've been touring. So I think it really just came out of that, and touring, as glamorous as it. There's moments of glamour, but there's also just a lot of reading magazines and playing solitaire, or if it was a modern song, you'd be, playing Wordle on your phone or something like that. Who travels with a deck of cards anymore? But I think people can relate to, like, okay, you fold down the table on the plane or the
Sure.
train and get your, do something like that. It really just came out of missing somebody and trying to explain that being on the road is what it is, which is a lot of passing time.
Yeah, I'm sure. Among other things, but passing time. I got that. Okay, I appreciate that. Thank you. All right, then please allow me to transition us again into the actual end product, to the actual quarter-inch of this magnificent recording. And let's just kind of show a little bit of how this process took place. I want to, reiterate our process that you already know, but I want to do that for our fans and for our future customers so that they understand, our integrity and the integrity of our recording process. I mean, just zero digital tools allowed at any point. This is all straight to tape, and that's how we do all of our recordings here. So this is our 2-inch, which is, really cool to see a 2-inch, and, people don't really get to see it all that often, but on SM911, which we, for our recording label, only really do the RTM tape. Really good brand, really successful, positive results. So this is our 2-inch. This is just one of 4 different reels that we went through with Paul. So pretty special, and we don't play this tape. We never play this tape. The only time we would ever play this is replay this and re-record is with your blessing. You know that, so pretty cool stuff. Now, obviously, from there we go down into our half-inch, half-track masters, which are also on recording the master's tape. And we do this because obviously we're not going to be making copies off this. That's kind of a no-brainer. And this allows us to make first-generation copies, saving the integrity of our 2-inch. This is also done on brand new flux magnetic heads on a completely modified head assembly by John French, kind of the guru of magnetic heads. So I'm excited for you to actually hear this in the coming minutes. So throw that down there. And for the moment of truth, this is the final product.
Wow.
With the packaging. So please take a look at that and tell me how you feel about it.
Unbelievable. I mean, it's really unbelievable.
Cool.
These guys on this cover, these are my brothers.
I could tell.
We have been through so much life together, ups, downs, love, loss, all kinds of stuff. And to capture some of that on this format, which is the age we are, we grew up listening to records that were recorded onto 2-inch, It kind of feels like an impossible thing. I can't believe that I'm holding this in my hand.
That's cool.
Wow.
That's so cool. Here, open her up. Take a look at the inner trays. Yeah, put that right here.
Oh wow! It just keeps on giving.
Yeah, so it's in a really nice tray or inner sleeve, I guess you could call it. Two 10.5-inch reels, volume 1, volume 2, and it's 10 songs of just awesome Adam Levy and the Mint Imperials.
Wow. I have to smell the tape.
Oh yeah, yeah, it's like licorice to me.
Wow.
That's the first copy. There isn't another one in existence.
Wow.
It either goes to you or to Marco. I'm going to tell Marco it should go to you.
Wow.
And,
this is so beautiful.
We'll release it tomorrow.
This is so beautiful.
I'm glad you liked it. That's great. I appreciate it. I want to close out by going back to you. That's why we're here. And again, I want to make sure that people will get to know you, even your existing fans. So, guitar skills, obviously synonymous with you, Mr. Adam Levy. They're impeccable. They're incredible. They're fun. They're exciting. With that said, nobody gets anywhere without influencers and mentors and the like. So, tell us who those people are, both the influencers, and I'm sure you've had mentors along the way that are different than influencers. Tell us about these people, and how they're special for you.
Well, as far as like an influence, somebody who was really big for me is not a guitar player. Is the piano player Vince Guaraldi.
Okay.
I don't know if you know that name.
I'm not overly familiar, but I do know that I've heard the name.
Yeah. So probably the most thing he's best known for is he wrote the music for the Charlie Brown Christmas special. And there's something about his piano playing that I really loved. There's space in it. Like he's not, playing all the piano all the time. He leaves room for the other two guys in his band to play. He leaves some room for your imagination. So like there's room for you to kind of climb inside the record if you want to, with your imagination. There's a kind of almost a countryness in he would do these little things on the piano that translate on the guitar to hammer-ons and slides and stuff. You can't bend notes on the piano, but he sort of makes the piano feel like this folksy instrument, and I found that very relatable on the guitar. And I listened to the Christmas record and some other Vince Guaraldi records a lot. As far as guitar players that have influenced me, one is a guy named Bill Frisell. He's
of course.
I saw him play live for the first time in '89 in LA, and it just really blew my mind.
Sure. He's been known to do that to a few folk.
Yeah, and playing the guitar in a way, this is okay. Context: I grew up in Los Angeles. In the late '80s, everybody was shredding. Jazz was about shredding. Rock was. You turn on MTV, dudes are shredding. Fusion was big. When I was a kid, the station that had been a classic rock station turned into kind of like a smooth jazz station. So everywhere around LA, things were either shredding or smooth jazz or shredding smooth jazz or smooth shredding jazz. And then Bill Frisell came and played and didn't sound anything like anything I'd heard. And for a little while, I guess I tried to copy it or crack the code, but really, I think all it was is like somebody coming along and saying, there is something else to do on the guitar besides shredding. And you don't have to do this, but maybe just...
Not only that.
Right. I mean, it's really, I can't overstate how much that was the culture at that time. So seeing Bill at that moment was a huge thing. I love Jeff Beck.
Okay.
He was the guy that really made the guitar not sound like a guitar, but not with technology. Some people make the guitar not sound like a guitar by manipulating the sound. Jeff Beck is just a bare knuckle fighter. Like, just give him a Stratocaster and a Marshall and a cable, and he will make the guitar not just talk, but kind of like talk dirty. He's really incredible. You can watch Jeff Beck like a magician. You could be this close and you would have no idea how he's doing what he's doing. I don't even know if he knows, or knew
He's
what
just
he was.
feeling it.
Yeah, just really special. And I've tried to make the guitar, I don't know if talk dirty. My guitar is maybe more like PG-13 or something, but it seemed important to me to try to make the guitar feel vocal.
Okay, that's awesome. Okay. Well, look, obviously those skills have made or has assisted and helped you make this wonderful album. I can't wait to share it with the world. Thank you again.
Yeah.
I do want to end with something very, very important to me, and I know to you as well, and also to my partner Marco, and that's a huge, huge shout out to our sound engineer on this album, Mark Harder. A good human being, like my highest compliment. One that I share for you as well. It's up for debate about my partner and I. I'm just kidding. But Mark is just a sweetheart, is he not? I mean, he is
a good way to describe
wildly
him.
Talented, teddy bear, uber funny.
Yes.
Easy
All
to
those
be
things.
around.
Yep.
And I watched him with you give complete space and ultimate authority, but also answer your questions and help you, almost like you did for the person that you were describing earlier in your private lesson this morning. He helped you say, oh yes, no, let's go this direction, and it was still your direction, which we want anyway. We don't want to be involved or pushy. So Mark, we love you. Thank you. Can't wait for you to hear the quarter-inch copy. So come by soon. We'll call you. Unless there's anything else, Adam, huge thank you from both Marco and I. We'll go ahead and release this tomorrow.
Awesome.
And get you a copy of it. And I love you, man. Thank you so much.
Love you, Ryan. Thank
Cool.
you so much.
Thanks, buddy.
Yeah.